Hawaii's Big Island. As night falls on the volcanic coasts, the tropical reef fish that fill the reef in the day disappear, while predatory moray eels slither out of crevices and begin hunting through the coral, looking for sleeping fish to devour. With many of the smaller fish hiding from these large piscivores, tiny creatures begin their nightly migration from the ocean depths. These planktonic predators, such as copepods, known as zooplankton, rise to the surface to feed on even smaller planktonic algae, using the darkness to hide from any potential predators still out in the dark waters. However, some animals have the adaptations to easily collect vast amounts of them in the dark. The reef manta ray. These large fish, growing over 10 feet across, are filter feeders, adapted to sift through the water column using a feeding strategy known as ram feeding. On either side of their cavernous mouth are appendages called cephalic fins. During the day they are usually curled up and resembling horns, but when feeding they are unfurled and used to help direct water into the mouth. The manta's gills have specialized rakers that trap zooplankton, allowing the rays to collect enough out of the water to swallow. Each night, the rays swim up and down the coast on the search for the highest plankton concentrations. In the 1970s, a resort was built in Kailua Kona along the coast. One of the design choices made for the resort was to illuminate the surf at night for guests to watch. Though the plankton hide at depth away from light, at night they are attracted to it. Soon a high concentration of plankton would form every night below the hotel, and the nearby manta rays soon learned to come to the spot to feed. Manta rays have the largest brains of any fish, and besides being able to remember good plankton spots, there is some research indicating these animals are capable of complex social interactions. Dive shops nearby soon took notice and took advantage of this conditioned behavior by constructing special underwater lights to move the plankton clouds into slightly deeper water, allowing divers and snorkelers to get close to these majestic animals. Over the years, another cove has become a spot to set up underwater lights. In these high plankton concentrations, manta rays will take multiple passes through the beams of light where the plankton congregates. Some rays do spectacular upside-down loops to collect as much food as possible. Over the years, many other fish have learned about the lights, but they know to avoid these leviathans. Despite creating a predictable nightly buffet, human activity hasn't been all good for these majestic animals. Even in Hawaiian waters where they are protected from targeted fishing for their gill rakers and meat, rays get tangled in lines and nets as bycatch. This ray bears the scars of such an encounter, even having lost one of its cephalic fins, cut off by Titan nylon. And this ray has a heavily damaged cephalic fin. The divers themselves also cause some damage. Many rays have a red, rash-like mark on their cephalic fins and undersides. This is caused when their slime coat is rubbed off by coming into contact with dive lights and equipment. These manta ray night dives have been written up as one of the best dives in the world and have become incredibly popular. This popularity is a blessing and a curse. On one hand, the cove can be incredibly crowded, with over a dozen boats full of people in the water every night. But on the other, an incredible experience allowing people to witness an incredible phenomena and directly interact with the natural world.